So I think we're starting with Romana, is that right? Holly?
Starting with me, oh, haha. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Lovely. Well, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all here. Thank you so much for giving of your time. As you know, I've come back to Penn International after a bit of a break, 18 months, and I come back full of energy and ready for the big challenges ahead. For most of you, you've already been participating in the Civil Society Project, a program that Penn International runs. But I thought I would just run through and remind everybody the purpose of the program. And so for participants who perhaps haven't joined a webinar or a workshop, then at least you'll know a little bit the context of what we're doing. So as most of you know, we set up the Civil Society Program, which is a sub-granting program for our Penn centres, for the most part in the Global South, to support centre-led projects, which are intended really to contribute to a dynamic civil society. So using literature as a means to engage our members and the population more broadly around issues, around freedom of expression issues or human rights issues, which are of concern to you in your countries. So many of you will know and have participated that over the last 15 years or so, we've run projects from Argentina to Zimbabwe, from Belarus to Myanmar, sometimes small projects, just seed projects to get centres back and helping them to raise their profile and raise their membership, and sometimes two-year projects which have been very successful across Asia, Latin America and Africa, working with communities, working with schools and universities, working with children, young people, and community members. In all, we've reached over 40,000, your projects, centre projects, have reached over 40,000 participants. And I think you'll agree that that is an amazing achievement. So that's the first sort of objective of the program, is to support centre-led projects. And the second objective really is to support the capacity building of the Penn network, to support centres as they run their projects so that they can run them efficiently, so that we can run them to make the fullest impact in the work that you want to do, that we can be transparent and accountable, and that we can communicate. We can communicate our successes and we can share our challenges amongst each other. And so this webinar series really leads on from three other workshops that we've done over the years with our participants. And many of you, of course, have participated in those. We had our first one in Oxford, which was led by Anne. And then we went to Malawi, thanks to Penn Malawi for hosting us, where we brought together many of the African centres to brainstorm and to strategize and to share. And then our third workshop was in the Philippines, where we were lucky enough to have Penn Myanmar, Penn Bangladesh, and Penn Cambodia. So many of you are very familiar with the workshops that we've been running. Just to say that going forward, we had an evaluation on Penn International's work, and one of the recommendations, well, there were many recommendations, but one of them in particular to Penn International was that we should think about reducing the number of projects that we fund per year. And so next year, well, this year, because of the coronavirus, we're taking the opportunity to strengthen Penn Centre's presence online, and many of you have submitted projects to us. We're grateful, we're trying to support as many centres as we can to do that. So there'll be about 30 Penn centres from across the network that will be benefiting from these funds. But going forward next year, we will open the civil society programme up again with a call for proposals. And sadly, our resources are, as always, limited. And so next year, it will be a very competitive process to have your projects funded by Penn International. And so the purpose really of this work, of these workshops, is to get you ready to help you to really develop the strongest possible projects that we can, the ones that are really going to meet the needs of your communities, of your members, and hopefully enable you to go fundraising in your own local context to help you with funds, or to come back to us under this subgranting program. So without really much ado, I'm going to hand back to Anne. Anne is our facilitator, along with Nduko, who'll introduce himself, I hope, in a second, and Holly. And over the course of the next hour or so, we hope that we're really going to exchange and build a real team amongst us all to share what our issues are and what our challenges are and what Penn International can do to help. So Anne is an amazing facilitator. She works with a partner organisation called Intrac. So Anne, we're really grateful to you. I'm so grateful to Holly and Hawa and Dulko for preparing this workshop. I'm going to have to step out. I'm so sorry, but I'm with you in spirit. And as you know, the team in London is always ready to help in any way we can. So over to you, Anne.
Great. Thank you, Romana. That was brilliant. Well, what we're going to do now is I'd really like you all to introduce yourselves to each other. What I'm asking you to do is to give your name and which Penn Centre you're from. I'll just quickly introduce myself. I work with Intrac. I've been working with Romana and Holly and Salwa for the past 4 years. Some of you I've met already on training courses and workshops. So I'm going to hand over. I'm going to introduce one person, and when that person is completed introducing themselves, I want them to nominate the next person. Is that possible? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to ask Danson if you can introduce yourself, and then you can nominate the next person on to introduce themselves.
Sorry, you're talking about me?
Yeah. Could you introduce yourself, Danson, and which Penn Centre?
Thank you. I'm my name is Danson from Penn, Uganda. I'm the president of the center, and I'm very happy to see everyone, especially Anne. I learned so much from you in Oxford.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that I'm here to learn again from you. And I would like to nominate Katrina from Penn Afrikaans to introduce herself.
Thank you, Danson. Hello. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Katrina Wessels from Penn Afrikaans here in South Africa. My role at Penn Afrikaans is that of manager, which is essentially a coordinator of our projects. So yeah, hello and nice to be here. Maybe let's hear from Penn Nigeria next.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I lost my voice yesterday, but then I hope you can still hear me. I'm Folu Agoy, president of Penn Nigeria, and it's a pleasure seeing you again, meeting all the good people, Romana, Holly, and the rest of them, dancing. I'm happy to be around here to attend this program. So I'm handing over the baton to CM Okunko from Lagos to introduce us.
Everyone, greetings from Lagos. My name is CM Okonko. I'm in Penn Nigeria on the editorial board, where I serve as a secretary. So I'm really happy to be here today, and I really thank Folu for giving me the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people and learn more about Penn International. So I'd like to nominate Beatrice with the lovely hair from Penn, Uganda.
Thank you. My name is Beatrice. I'm the Vice President, Penn, Uganda. I'm happy to be here. I'd like to, and I hope to learn a lot as we work towards fundraising for Ugandan Penn. I will nominate Jasmine from Penn, Myanmar.
Are you there, Jasmine?
I think there's some technical problem. Let me take this chance from Penn, Myanmar. Hi, I'm Imo Tay from Penn, Myanmar. I'm special event coordinator here, and I'm very happy to join this webinar. Looking forward to learning new things and a lot about other centers too. Thank you.
Welcome. So Yorn, maybe you could introduce yourself now.
So hello from Cambodia. So I am Yon Yang, the president of Penn, Cambodia. Yeah, today we have our staff topic in here. Tong Him is here. Tong Him Phil, yeah. This is.
Yeah, my name Tong Him Phil, alias Philip. Can call me Philip. And I'm the secretary and treasurer of Penn, Cambodia.
So now you nominate someone, Yorn.
I think I think Tida from Penn, Myanmar is good, I think. I would like to nominate Tida.
Tida.
No, Tita's not with us today, Yorn. I think it's Jasmine from Penn, Myanmar.
Yeah.
She's having a problem. Maybe we could ask William to introduce himself.
Let me check. I think Danson is good. For me, I would like to nominate Danson.
I finished. Yeah. I finished already.
Yeah.
Come on, I finished already.
Thank you. Yeah, I nominate him. Danson is good for me.
Okay, thank you, Yorn. Maybe William, you could introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is William Umpina. I'm a member of Malawian Penn, a writer. I'm very glad to see Jason. I once met him when he came to Malawi. We personally met and we traveled together on a short distance to Africa South. Thank you so much. And Salwa Muhammad, we pronounce it.
Salwa.
Hi everyone, I'm Salwa. I work for Penn International and I'm part of the finance team. Nice to meet you all. I nominate Nduko.
Tribalism.
Thank you, Salwa. My name is Nduko Omatigere. Today I'm exactly 2 weeks at Penn International.
Wow, welcome, yes.
I'm the Africa Regional Program Coordinator. And I'm glad to meet so many of you in one place today. So I'm looking forward to one-on-one with you. I've spoken with at least 2 of you already, particularly from the Africa Penn Centers. So I'm looking forward to meet all of you soon. For now, virtually, but later in person when COVID leaves us alone. And I'd like to nominate Isaias from Eritrea.
Thank you, Doko. This is Isaias Bene from Penn, Eritrea. I'm working as a project coordinator for this organization, and I would like to nominate Awad.
Hi everyone, I'm glad to see all of you here. It's a great opportunity to see different people from different countries with the same concern. I'm a member of Penn Eritrea. I think that's all for now.
Who would you like to nominate, Awet? Awet, could you nominate somebody else to introduce themselves?
Yeah, sure. Mohammed Mohaddin, I think. Penn, let me check from which pen he is. Penn Bangladesh, I think has already done it, sorry. Let me go for another person.
Hello.
If he has.
Yeah.
I've done it already, yeah?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon here from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm very much happy and glad that all of my Pan International friends from different countries are here, and after long days, we met some of you in Manila last 85th Congress. Now we're here to see the glorious faces of my friends, and I'm very much happy here, and I would like to nominate Fatima Malik. Hello.
No.
Do you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Yes.
So who were you going to nominate to introduce themselves?
I nominated Fatima Mali.
I think Fatima might have dropped off. Internet connection has gone.
Then Holly can introduce
herself.
herself.
Yeah. Just click the mic. Hi everyone, it's very nice to see all your faces. My name's Holly Strauss and I'm the Learning and Accountability Coordinator at Penn International. So I work on monitoring and evaluation and also very closely on the civil society programme, kind of organising trainings and general support. And I nominate Musa from the Gambia.
You have to unmute yourself, Musa.
You're on mute. It's the bottom left button that says mute microphone.
Musa, can you unmute yourself?
Oh dear.
Musa, we can't hear you.
Salwa, I think you can unmute Musa for him maybe, using your...
Oh, you're muted, Salwa.
I can only ask him to unmute, which I've done, but I can't unmute him.
Oh, that's a shame. Musa, we can't hear you.
Well, for now, shall I nominate Wezi and Musa? I'll write to you in the chat box about what you can do.
Thanks, Holly.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Holly. Hi, Anne. Good to see you again. This is Wezi Panje from Penn, Malawi. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
I now nominate Katrina.
Katrina finished.
Hi, I've already said hi from Penn Afrikaans.
Okay. All right. So let me see.
I think we're nearly there. There's somebody on iPhone. I don't know who that was.
I think almost everyone that I have here has already introduced themselves.
Look, I think there's somebody from Myanmar. Moi, M-O-E. Has she introduced herself?
Oh yeah, then we can go for that.
Yeah, I have, but we can go again.
Okay, I think we're.
Yeah.
Hi,
everyone.
Joe.
Maybe. Yeah. So maybe I'm the only one who left. I'm the just member of the Penn Myanmar. So today I'm just learning from all of you. I only joined the one event on behalf of Penn Myanmar last year in Bangkok, but this is my first time to join the Penn International event. Thank you so much and nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Musa, I think you're unmuted now.
Is it okay now?
Yep.
Yes.
You can get me now.
Yes, we can get you.
Okay, I'm Musa Sherif from the Penn Gambia president. And I'm happy to see the mostly Romana coming back. And also my brothers, Danso, others Penn member from Southern Africa, Fulu and others. And I pray that this pandemic that put us under house arrest finish as soon as possible for us to meet in person. So I welcome everybody on the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's everybody. Is there anyone we've missed?
You have Fatima. She's the one on the iPhone. Fatima from Penn Gambia.
Okay, I didn't. Okay, Fatima.
I think, yeah, is Fatima back? I think she
Yes.
has a,
Hello.
let me check.
Can you hear me?
Is she back?
Yeah, we can hear you, Fatima.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because I had difficulties connecting from my computer. Hi everyone. My name is Fatima Sila, and I'm the VP, the Vice President of Penn Gambia, and I'm excited to see everyone. Hi Ben, can you hear me? Hello.
Welcome, Fatima.
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're now moving on. Welcome everybody. I'm delighted you're all here with us. So we move on to introducing today's structure of the webinar. Okay. Ooh, somebody needs to mute, I think. The workshop structure today is we've just been through the technology with Salwa and an introduction by Romana. What we really want to move on to is look at what's missing from our webinar program, and I will quickly go through that in a few moments, what we're planning to do over the coming weeks. And then at 11:30, we'd like to have some group discussions and looking at some of your strengths and challenges you're facing in the centres. And then we'll spend the last 15 minutes just thinking about the next steps and what we want to do. Do you want to add anything, Holly, or is that okay?
No, I think that covers it.
a little bit behind. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this tool called Miro. I don't know if any of you have used it before. What we'd like to do is introduce which topics we're going to put into the workshops, the coming workshops. And then we're going to use this tool or this board to see if there are any other you'd like to add. So.
Okay, so
thanks, Holly.
I'm going to share. So now, as Anne said, we're going to be looking at using an interactive whiteboard tool, which makes it sound harder than it is, because ultimately it's just something that tries to replicate us all standing around a big piece of paper and putting post-its on it. Unfortunately, we all can't be in a room doing that. So we've got this tool, Miro, which we're going to use for the next activity and potentially a bit later in the session as well. So I just wanted to check, would you mind all just selecting yes or no next to your names if you were able to use Miro, were able to access it before? And the yes and no is on the participant section of the Zoom chat. Are any of you able to see that? It looks like maybe not, so don't worry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to Miro into the chat box, and I'm also going to share it on my Zoom screen. So if you could try and access the Miro through your browser by just clicking on that link. And I'm also going to just show you, for any of you who can't do that for any reason, because I'm sure there'll be lots of you who can't, then I'm just going to share it on my Zoom screen as well. I'll do that now. So just to give you a very brief introduction to Miro, we'll only be using a couple of functions today. The main thing we'll be using is this that you can see on the left hand here, which is called a sticky note. And yours, if you're viewing this through your browser, this might look a little bit different. You might have some different icons, and it might be in a different order. But ultimately, what you're looking for is a square with a little turned up corner in the bottom right hand, and that is just your post-it. So if you click that, then it comes up with a variety of colors. You can choose your favorite color. I'm going to choose yellow. You click on that, and then you click wherever you want it to sit on the board. So I'm going to put it here. And then, as you can see, it comes up with a text. It comes up with a place where you can write in the middle, a kind of text box. So as you write, the text decreases in size to fit that post-it note. If you end up with it being kind of really, really tiny writing and you want to make it a bit bigger so everyone can see, you can just go to any of the corners and you see these kind of diagonal little arrows, and you can just pull it bigger or smaller. And similarly, if you want to make it kind of longer, wider, I mean, you can go to the edge and pull it to the side like that. And you want to be careful to avoid these little blue dots because they make drawing arrows, which we won't be using today. But if you do that by accident, you can very easily just click on them and then just press your delete button and they go. To delete these post-its, if you accidentally post loads or you put something down and then you realize you've rethought it or anything like that, you can just right click and then you go to the bottom here where it says delete, and you can just delete that there. The only other functions that I think might be useful today is firstly there's in the bottom right hand corner, there is a percentage here. This is where you can zoom in and out of the screen. So you can zoom in to view things kind of more close up using the plus button, and you can zoom out using this minus button. You can move around the screen either by using the arrows on your keypad on your laptop, if you're using a laptop, so that's moving up or down. If you're on your phone, I think you can use 2 fingers to go up and down and across. And if you're, the other option for if you're on any device is this little arrow at the top of this panel here. And if you click on that, as you can see, you get a little hand. And if you click, then the hand grabs, and then you just move the mouse in the direction, in the opposite direction to the direction you want to go. And that means you should be able to move around the screen. We're not going to be using, as I said, those are the main things we're going to be using today, and there's other things you can do, and I think for now we'll just stick with that. If you can't access Miro and therefore kind of type on the post-its and contribute in that way, then don't worry at all, because we're also going to be monitoring the chat box. And this screen is always going to be viewed through Zoom as well. So if there's a point at which Anne says, everyone have a few minutes and write down on your post-its any ideas, if you can't access, then just write in the chat box your ideas, and Salwa or I will transfer that over to the Miro. So all of your ideas will still be collected and will still be stored all in one place. If you have any, if you struggle at all, you're welcome to kind of message me throughout this session. And then, but as I said, don't worry about it too much, because yes, you can just contribute through Zoom as well. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
No. Okay, great. Take it away, Anne.
Okay, so what we're doing today, what we really want to do is to say that these are the webinars we're going to offer, and I'll quickly explain those. But we also want to gain an understanding of what you need so that we can tailor any up and coming webinars to make them more useful and relevant for you. So, and we want to work out if there's anything missing. These are the ideas that have come up, and obviously Romana and Holly and Salwa work with all of you and Danson, and you're all working together, so you sort of know what you want, but it's just sometimes we might miss something. So we just want to sort of priorities of what you want, and if there's any gaps in the proposed sessions that we're going to do over the coming weeks. So the first one that we would like to offer is building a membership. As you know, Penn is a volunteer movement, and most of you are volunteers and rely on others volunteering their time to work with you and to run your projects. So there's lots of challenges to working with and recruiting members and holding on to volunteers. They tend to go into other jobs. So we'd like to do a session on how to grow and develop your volunteer base, how to keep them engaged, and then we can discuss the sorts of challenges you face and share from each of you how you've overcome those challenges. That also, we want to get you ready for the new, hopefully, funding, the centre, the CSP funding in 2021. And some of the things for that, we'd like to do some workshops or some webinars that help to link to that. So the second webinar we're suggesting is understanding the need of the beneficiaries and doing a problem analysis of that. It's an essential first step to designing a project is to understand the needs and the problem you're trying to solve. You already do this yourselves, I know you do. However, it'd be nice to share the different approaches we use and look at some best practice tips that we might want to share with each other from you and from us at the Penn Centre. We'd like to do a little session on theory of change, which is a tool which some of you may have heard of, some of you may even have used. It's a planning tool which helps us to understand and map out how change happens and what is our role in that change. What do we as Penn Centres, what's our role in helping to bring about the change in the projects that we're working with? We then would like to look at budgeting and financial reporting. This is an area that many of you have struggled with over the last few years, how to budget the projects. We all hate budgeting, don't we? It's not just you, it's everybody. We all hate it, except for Selwa. She loves it. So we'll go over the process and hopefully Selwa will give us all some tips on how to budget better. We're going to look, we'd like to look and do a webinar on monitoring, evaluation and learning. Of course, you've all been monitoring and evaluating your work and you've been reporting back to Penn International, but we want to share some different approaches Holly and I have been experimenting with and working with alongside you. And we want to help you with your challenges and offer some advice in terms of how to build monitoring and evaluation plans and how you learn from your projects through your monitoring and evaluation. And possibly to even look at how do we measure the impact of our programs, one of the hardest things to do. The sixth workshop we'd like to work with will be communications. And this is a training on how to build on the communications you're already doing anyway, with a focus on online communications, which this is a good starting point as today's webinar. The training will provide tips on how to maximize your messages to reach new audiences and supporters. And I think it's really important for the campaigns and the fundraising you all do. The next one, the seventh workshop we'd like to offer is ensuring your work is gender sensitive. We're all being told we have to work in a gender sensitive way these days. And Penn is very much committed to promoting and attaining gender equality. There is a manifesto, which I suspect all of you have read anyway, and they'll soon be recruiting a gender expert to support the organisation in becoming more aware of gender in the work. We'll be working with them and they will design the training on gender sensitive transformation. Number 8 is fundraising, back to the sharing fund. Really, that's about sharing fundraising tips. How do we raise money and sharing across? Some of you are already doing it, so sharing across the different Penn centres, tips and ideas of how to do fundraising. The 9th workshop we're considering is solidarity and protection of writers at risk. At the core of Penn's work is our solidarity and protection of writers at risk. And Penn's protection team will run a knowledge sharing session, understanding the protection of writers at risk and how you in the centres could be more involved in that. And the last session we have on the board is engaging young people in your projects and diversifying your membership. Attracting young people to your projects, how do you get them in? And as Penn members, are essential for the long-term sustainability and relevance of the movement as a whole. So those are the 10 we're suggesting you may like, and we will look at those again a bit later this morning. But we just wondered if there's anything that you think that's missing that you might like us to cover as well in this series of webinars. So if you could write on post-it notes, did you all get into the webinar? I can see some of you are there already. If you can take a post-it note and add your thoughts. If you have a problem with getting into the Miro board, then please could you put it in your chat box if you have any ideas that you want to add to these 10 that we've already offered you. Any ideas? I can see people playing on the board. Welcome, Cho. You're now on your computer, I think. Great, thank you, whoever said that. Any thoughts? Are you all happy? Okay. No ideas? Oh. Somebody's writing. Oh, good. Okay, shall we move on then to what we'd like to do is do a sort of a vote or on these 10 topics so we can get you to prioritize which ones you feel are important to you. I think we have a poll set up.
Yes, I will be launching the poll now. Please select 3 topics in order of priority for your center. I'll give you about 2 minutes and then I will end the poll.
So maybe you could vote for, if you click on 3 of the topics in front of you. Can you all see the poll? Good. Oh, excellent.
Sorry, Annie, I forgot to choose the topic. Then I click turnouts. Then can you send me the topic that I can send? I can select. Submit.
Can you see the poll?
I confused to click close it. So
I don't know if we can send it again, Salwa. Is that possible?
yeah, send it again.
I can't, if I send it again, it will go again for everyone. What you can do is put the names of the ones that you're interested in the chat box for me, please.
Brilliant.
So select the 3 topics that you want and just post it in the chat box.
Thanks, Salwa.
You're welcome.
I lost the topic that you show on the board.
Okay, so it was building membership, monitoring evaluation and learning, ensuring your work is gender sensitive, engaging young people in your projects and diversifying your membership, fundraising, communications, understanding the need of your beneficiaries and problem analysis, and solidarity and protection of writers at risk. Those are the topics.
I've just put them in the chat box as well, everyone.
Thanks, Holly.
So we've got 2 people left to vote, I think.
Is there anybody else having problems voting?
Can I end the polling now?
Yes, and there's 5 more seconds for anyone who's
not voted.
Mulling it over, and then yeah, end the polling and reconcile.
I don't think, it doesn't look like anyone else is voting, so
yeah.
I'll end it. If you haven't had a chance, please give us your choices in the chat box. Okay, here are the results of how you voted. Anne, can you see it?
I can. So 58% of you wanted building membership and fundraising. 50% were looking at engaging young people. 42% communications. And then problem analysis and solidarity was 17%. Or ensuring your work is gender sensitive was 25%. So it's interesting that the 2 top are fundraising and building a membership. Yeah.
If I just stop you, it's not sharing them in order. If you scroll down, you'll see that there are others with
Sorry.
Yeah, higher. Sorry.
That's okay. So 42% budgeting and financial reporting, which is interesting because that fundraising, budgeting and building membership are important to all of you. And obviously you're quite keen to have support in improving those. And then planning projects and theory of change, that's quite high, as is communication and engaging young people. Okay, any thoughts on any of the topics that you'd like to mention? Any of you got any ideas you'd like to talk about with the topics that have come in the poll? No? Anything you feel really, really strongly about yourselves? No? Okay, I think we probably should move into groups then. Close my poll. Okay, this is it's on the screen. We're going to put you into groups of 5, and you will be assigned 2 or 3 of those topics, and you have 20 minutes to discuss what challenges have you faced in this area in the past, what are your centre's strengths or expertise in this area, and then I want you to write your answers on post-its around the topic. This is really important because it will help us to plan the sessions around what it is you want rather than what we think you want. And then I'm going to ask each group to nominate one person to feed back to the whole workshop when we come back. Are there any questions on the process?
Okay, so I'll open up all the rooms.
No, sorry, I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah, the question says, what challenges have you faced in this area in the past? So by this area, what are we talking about?
When you get into your group, you will be given 2 or 3 topics to discuss, and it's those topics that I would like you to look at your challenges.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Anne.
Okay, pleasure.
So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to open up all the rooms. You'll get a little box asking you to join a particular room. Please join the room. Please, either Nduko, Holly, or Anne will be there to give you the topics and the link for the Miro board. I will time the session to 20 minutes. I'll send you a reminder 3 minutes before the session is over, and then I will bring you all back to the main room. Any questions for me before I put you all in rooms?
If Holly or I don't come immediate to your room, please just wait. We're going to 2 different rooms, so we'll deal with one and then move to the other, just so you know.
Okay.
Just before we go into the groups, so there'll be two options, and you can decide in your group which you want to take depending on how many people can access Miro. So one option is that you go into the Miro and store all of your thoughts around the topics using the post-its. But if a lot of you can't access the Miro, then it might be easier for you to just discuss, and one of you who's nominated for feedback to just take notes on challenges, strengths from your centre for each of the topics, and then just feed back to us verbally. And then we can, as you speak, we can kind of take notes and we can put things on Miro. So decide in your groups which approach you'd want to take, which is the easiest thing for all of you when you get into them.
Thanks, Holly.
Okay, I'm opening up all the rooms now. If you have any questions, or any queries, please do contact me in the chat box.
Holly, you're going to, sorry.
That's okay.
So I think the first group is group 2. Group 1, nobody got into that room. So I'm hoping that Awat will be able to feedback. Are you happy to do that, Awat?
I wouldn't mind doing it. The problem is I cannot access properly the feedbacks from the group. So it's not going to be easy for me to summarize it in one way to the whole group.
Can you see, Awat, can you see it? Can you not see it on Zoom being shared, or is it too small?
I'm using my
Your phone.
Phone, so it is
okay.
very easy to, very difficult to see all of it on the.
Yeah, someone
I
else
think
then who can see.
Holly.
Okay, I can feedback some of it if that helps everybody. So sorry.
Yeah, I gave my feedback at the chat box.
Yes, I think it's already in.
Yeah.
Muhyiddin, I think it's already in there. So
Thank
we
you.
just
Thank you.
okay. Thanks, Holly, for moving it around. So we looked at theory of change. People were asking what was theory of change. They're still not sure, but as you can see, someone reported back that they don't have experience or people with expertise in the area of project planning. That Muhyiddin felt that they do have expertise in running projects, but wasn't so sure about the project planning. And there was a statement, I'm not sure who wrote, is making sure there's a real need for the project and engaging the right role and players and stakeholders to ensure a sustainable project, which really is more about the needs analysis and then the planning, I think. So that's a very useful comment back to us. With building membership, I think that the main challenge people talked about was this reaching out to potential members and getting people interested and committed to being to joining Penn. And then the strength was that Penn Eritrea, with all challenges in mind, is doing some progress in terms of visibility on the internet. The website gets good examples. Their website has some very good examples of how they get members and build members. So that was, we ran out of time a little bit, but thank you for those. That's good feedback. Does anybody want to comment from group 2 that I've missed it or missed something they said? No.
It was captured perfectly.
Thank you, CM. That's very kind of you. Should we move on to group 3, Holly?
Yeah.
Ah, much busier. So who's feeding back for group 3?
I am the one to feed back. Okay. So shall I start?
Yes, please.
So our topics are monitoring, evaluation, and learning, and the other one is reaching and attracting young people. And we try to identify mainly the challenges for both topics, and as you can see from the mirror, the overall challenges if you are going to monitor or evaluate, first you really need to have a properly planned projects. So since the projects are not properly planned, so the challenge for us in every step of this project, in implementing, monitoring, evaluation, and at the end getting lessons from this project. So this was the main problem. And the other one is not having expertise, especially in monitoring and evaluation, because most of the members are writers, so they don't have any background on such field. And the other challenges about having a problem, especially when they are evaluating training. The voice is not okay. So specifically, the problem with evaluating training and learning sessions was identified as one challenge in our group, because there is no direct measurement to gauge the knowledge or confidence that participants of training can get. And another one is especially regarding to monitoring and evaluating in relation to the documentation aspect, because as it was raised by Musa from Penn, Gambia, getting documents, receipts, and other relevant documents which can help you to effectively monitor your financial status also was identified as a challenge. I think these are the points that we've raised for monitoring, evaluation, and learning. For the second topic, reaching and attracting young people, one is the Penn centers are unable to identify what exactly are the needs of young people, because as we can see, the social media is the main source of information to, especially to young people. So if Penn centers are going to compare with all these outlets, they really need to identify what are the exact needs of young generation. So this was identified as one problem. But in general, like Penn Uganda has got respect from the general public, so there is no any problem in accessing young people, aside that they are not able to identify their needs. Penn Myanmar is also well connected with writers and journalists from the whole country, so there is no challenge in accessing young people. And there is also a good example from Gambia that they use schools to access these young people. So they reach to the schools and they do some events with the students. So this was identified as a strength for Penn Gambia, I think. And the other challenge identified was, I think this came from Uganda, because they don't have any, they don't see any importance or any thing in these Penn centers. They choose to go to other places to satisfy their needs. So these were the challenges that we've identified. I think my team members will add some of the points I have missed or left. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else want to comment from group 3? No?
No, he has touched all our discussion points, so I think it's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Holly, we're getting short of time. Should we move to group 4? Ooh, lots of post-its. So who's reporting back for group 4?
Follow, where are you? Follow? Okay, I think follow is not there. So we tried to look at that. We had a problem. One of our members from Myanmar failed to connect. She would hear us, but we were not able to hear her. And in fact, most of the time was spent trying to have her on board. And would like to thank you people for giving us 5 minutes. Without those minutes, we would have had nothing on the Miro.
Well done, group.
Yeah, so in terms of expertise, as far as budgeting and financial reporting is concerned, we said that all Penn centers have experience in project writing, and every project comes with a budget. So the fact that every Penn center has had a project that has passed or has been implemented means that in one way or another, there is some experience that we have developed over time. And some centers have had 3 projects, 4 projects, and so on. I can't even see some of the things that we wrote. I don't know. So can somebody help me expand them? Because, yes, thank you. Then we said that there is collaborative efforts in writing. In many Penn centers, when there's a project to be written, members come together and they write together. And as they are doing this, they are developing expertise in writing projects. So if a center has written 2 or 3 projects, it means they have been amassing some experience, but also they have been getting some skills on how to write. And we also noted that every project, we are able to realize what is wrong with a particular budget. And so every budget becomes better than the one that was there before. Unfortunately, among the problems, we said that many Penn centers, especially Penn Nigeria, Penn Uganda, do not have qualified accountants among the membership. But before we come to this, one of the areas of expertise, I think, came from Penn Myanmar, that for them, they have a particular committee in charge of writing projects. And I think that's one learning thing we can get from Penn Myanmar, that instead of like other Penn centers like Uganda, where you're doing everything, implementing projects, writing projects, doing this and this, if we could have a wider membership so that some members can dedicate themselves to writing projects and working on budgeting issues. Then the problems, many Penn centers don't have professional accountants like Salwa, who can help with budgets and so on. So most of the time we are fumbling about. And that's why our budgets are very basic. Perhaps they would never even pass if they went to a professional accountant and they followed the proper instructions on how to write budgets. The second problem is that most writers are dyscalculic. They really have nothing to do with numbers. When you bring numbers, when you bring simple arithmetic, they're in trouble. because they deal with narratives, with stories, and not with numbers. And then also we picked up another problem. This is a practical problem: exchange fluctuations. Exchange fluctuations. You write a project today, and the exchange rate is $1 to 3,500 Uganda shillings. Our money is a bit really like paper. So when I say $1, 3,500, some of you might think that it's fiction, but it's actually true. $1 is equal to 3,700 shillings. So you write a project today, but after 1 year, the exchange rates will have changed. And we thought that's also a problem that has to do with budgeting. For solidarity and protection, we said we have got some experience in terms of writing open letters to governments when they have arrested our writers. We've got some experience working with Penn International to write group letters, to write group appeals to governments, release our writers. But there are some problems that we still have. We lack legal expertise. Many Penn centers don't have lawyers as members. So sometimes we don't know how to progress as far as the legal gritty, nitty things are concerned. Then we also said, I think we need more training on advocacy. We see a problem, but we don't know what to do with the problem. A writer has been arrested, but how do we move on from that? So we need more advocacy and more experience sharing with other centers about what they do. Then we need more training on internet safety. Internet safety is still a problem. Many of our passwords are very weak, and we are very prone to being hacked by the government. And finally, we are weak in human rights protocols regarding writers, regarding journalists, and so on. We need more training on human rights instruments that have to do with writers, journalists, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, Danson. Okay. Thank you all for your very useful feedback.
And sorry, there's potentially one more group. Let me just check. Oh no. Was there a group 5?
Yes, group 5.
Ah, sorry. I didn't know. Who's feeding back for group 5?
Yes, we were having some of us having trouble to access to the micro.
Okay.
So that's why we can, if we can, just throw some notes in the into the chat after we discuss it. Yes. So the challenges we have faced in the past for gender was not having enough women's writer and not being able to given the opportunity for women's writer to become more accessible to do the writing, and also women in Myanmar, women haven't not taken as seriously as male writers. The difference beliefs and they just neglect women's writing because they don't take that seriously. So yes, for that one is that. And for fundraising, we have strong volunteer base would be a great asset for fundraising, to having the walks more flexible and more efficiently and effectively for not having enough volunteers. And by having the workshops that for literature reading and for painting, example for painting and poetry and dance through poetries. So that would be a great asset also for fundraising, to having more young people to have more interest in this.
Brilliant. Does anyone else from group 5 would like to add to this? No? Thank you, Moy.
Thank you. And Duko, did you want to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I think what came across all the Penn centers, Myanmar, Sierra Leone, and Gambia, is also a cultural challenge that that prevents gender integration. So there are cultural issues, and then the numbers of the numbers of women are few. But then, on a positive note, I think in Sierra Leone, Sal said that increasingly there are young women getting into journalism. And then on fundraising, I think the challenge was that there is no specific person across the center who is responsible for fundraising. So it's a kind of a shared role. So which means that it could miss specific attention because there's not a person that is responsible for fundraising.
Thank you, Nduko. And anyone else from that group have any comments or points that they'd like to share? Okay. Brilliant. I'm sorry we've overrun because I'm sure you're all busy people and you've given the time. In terms of the day, a lot of things have come out. It's quite interesting because I know we were a little bit learning the technology, and I think as time goes on we'll all get much better at it as we do more webinars and you join us more. But there were lots of useful things that came out, challenges, and some of the strengths that you have in the centres that we can, when we develop the different sessions, the different webinars, the different topics, we'll be able to use the things you've just given us into that, bring it into the process of the training courses or the webinar sessions. So if there are any other points that you feel are important, either pop it in the chat box or even send a message to Holly afterwards by email that we can use when we're developing each of these webinar sessions. What we'd like to do with the sessions is we'd like to have a variety of different people at the sessions, and maybe more than one person from each centre would be very welcome. We will then, with this registration, we want to have lots of different people so that we can work together and share our views and ideas. The sessions are going to run every 2 weeks. You will be sent a link to how to join for registration to the next sessions, and hopefully many of you will come back and bring more people with you to work with us. Is there anything else, Holly, you think I should have said?
No, I think that covers it. I think just everyone look out for an email next week when we'll send you the full list of sessions, and you'll be able to, at that point, sign up for any of the sessions up to November, December. Yeah, so look out for that next week. I think that's everything.
Brilliant. So thank you all for staying so late. There's one little thing we'd like you to do, is in the chat box, if you could give us any advice as the facilitators, if there's anything, advice from you on how we could have improved this session with you, so that we make sure we do it in the next ones. As you're going, it would be great if you could just do that. Thank you all for all your hard work. Thank you for your time. It's been fantastic having you all together, and lovely to see you all on the screen together. So if you could just let us know if there's any advice to us before you leave. Thank you all very much.